What if I told you that the difference between a broke man counting coins at midnight and a millionaire signing checks before breakfast has less to do with money itself and more to do with the way their brains are wired? Would you believe it? Or would you laugh it off as just another motivational slogan? Think about it for a second. Two people can start with almost the same background, the same opportunities, and even the same setbacks. Yet one of them pulls ahead like life is bending to his will, while the other drowns in bills and broken plans. And the real question is, what's happening inside the mind of the one who wins? Neuroscience has been slowly peeling back the layers on this mystery, revealing that wealth isn't just about hustle, hard work, or luck. It's deeply connected to the neural patterns we reinforce every single day. And the scary truth is, most of us are unconsciously programming ourselves to stay broke while thinking we're moving toward success. Let me put it in a story form. Imagine a kid growing up in a home where every dinner table conversation was about how money doesn't grow on trees, how rich people are greedy, and how life is about surviving, not thriving. Do you realize what that repetition does? Those phrases don't just vanish when the kid grows up. They become coded instructions buried deep in his subconscious, instructions that will quietly sabotage every attempt at building wealth, like invisible chains around the ankles, while the kid doesn't even notice he's dragging weight with every step. Now flip the script. Another kid grows up hearing opportunities are everywhere, risk is part of the game, and wealth is created, not given. And without even knowing it, his brain starts forming neural pathways that reward risk-taking, that normalize abundance, and that make seeing money as a tool instead of a threat, the default mode. And 20 years later, he's not just chasing opportunities, he's creating them, because his brain was trained to see what others literally cannot. That's the brutal difference. It's not talent, it's not luck, it's not even education alone. It's the training of the mind, repeated in small, invisible rituals every single day. And here's the uncomfortable truth you don't hear on YouTube, get-rich-quick channels. Rewiring your brain for wealth is not about affirmations whispered in the mirror or sticking fake quotes on your wall. It's about breaking biological habits that your neurons cling to like survival itself. When you resist spending money on an impulse, your brain's dopamine system screams for relief. When you invest in something uncertain, your amygdala fires warning alarms telling you you're about to lose. And when you visualize abundance, your prefrontal cortex is literally mapping out possibilities your old habits would have blinded you from. That's not magic, that's wiring. But here's where it gets interesting. The brain doesn't care what program you've been running. It only cares about repetition, which means you can be born into scarcity, trained by a family that feared money, raised in a culture that worshipped security over risk, and still reprogram every one of those instructions by exposing yourself to new environments, new mentors, new ways of speaking about money, and most importantly, by forcing your actions to send different signals until your brain accepts them as normal. For example, every time you save money automatically, you're telling your brain abundance is possible. Every time you take a small, calculated risk, you're telling your brain uncertainty doesn't kill you. Every time you shut down a negative story like, "I'll never make it," you're creating a micro-fracture in the old neural pathway and building a new one that supports growth. Over months, even years, those micro-actions pile up, and suddenly people around you start saying, "You're lucky," when in reality, you were just training your brain to spot what they kept ignoring. And maybe the craziest part? Science now shows mirror neurons, the part of your brain that copies behaviors, can be hijacked just by surrounding yourself with people who think and act wealthy, meaning your brain, whether you want it or not, absorbs the rhythms of the environment, which is why broke friends keep you broke, and growth-minded circles make you stretch. That's the unspoken secret wealthy people rarely admit. They curate their mental diet the same way athletes curate their physical diet, not because it sounds good, but because they know exposure reshapes wiring. So here's the bottom line. Your brain is not a fixed machine. It's wet clay. And the question is, are you letting it harden around fear, scarcity, and excuses? Or are you reshaping it daily into the kind of mind that doesn't just chase money, but attracts it like gravity? Because if you don't take control of the program, someone else already has. Your parents, your culture, your old failures. And they'll keep running that script until the day you break it. So the next time you catch yourself thinking, maybe wealth just isn't for me, pause, look deeper, and ask yourself this. Is that really the truth? Or is it just a ghost voice from the past, still echoing in a brain you never rewired?